Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How are you all doing this morning? We are streaming live on YouTube. So, good morning to everybody on YouTube and YouTube land. If you are new to this channel, please feel free to subscribe, right? Subscribe to the channel by clicking on that link. You can comment, you can share. In the description box, you'll also see a link there that says www.coachhadassah.com. And when you go to that link, you'll see where you can connect with me across social media, and also get enrolled for Rogers Wealth Methods, our Forex trading platform. And not only are we a Forex trading platform, we are a wealth platform, right? Because once you get the bag, right, we want to teach you how to get the bag. But after you get the bag, you want to know and understand how to keep it, right? And we definitely have those resources for you available in our network. So today is Tuesday. It is March 28th, 2023. And today we are going to we're going to get into a bit of psychology. It's forex psychology, trading psychology, but just the psychology in general, right? So there's something that we're going to do a bit, well, it'll seem a bit different today. All right? Cuz you'll be wondering like, well, how does what does this have to do with anything? Like, how does this fit with trading? Right. Here's the thing about it. There are things that are going on in the world. That's what the Forex market is all about. It's global, right? It is bigger than the stock market. This is the Forex stands for foreign exchange, right? We're changing currencies across the globe or exchanging currencies across the globe, right? And so depending on your your personality type, your trading personality type, your mindset, all of these things, um you want to have the best advantage in the market, you want to have the best edge in the market. And when things are happening across the world, right, like globally, it affects global economies. And there is something that a lot of times we may not even consider. We don't even consider. However, once we delve into this, you will see how important this is and how um, it will again help you and give you that edge in trading to help you to become a more disciplined and profitable trader. All right. So I'm Coach Hadassah. I'm about to take you on through this journey. All right. And so we're getting into astro psychology, right? It's like, well, what in the heck is astro psychology? We'll get more into it. And as you can see, we're going to focus on Pluto in Aquarius. It was very interesting to me the other day. We just had a planetary event that is taking place. It's like, well, what does the planets have to do with anything? Well, you'll find out. Um, if you are, I mean, it doesn't make a difference if you're religious, if you're spiritual, if you know anything about the Bible, the scriptures, right? I mean, we hear these things, as above, so below, on earth as it is in heavens. Well, we have to ask ourselves this question: on earth as it is in heaven, what is in heaven? What is heaven? But what is in the heavens? Well, there are planets, right? We have a solar system. and all systems work, right? So we have a solar system. We have this galaxy. We have all of these things that's above and beyond this little planet that we live on called Earth. Earth is just one of many planets in a solar system. And what happens in the heavens affects the earth. And it affects things, events, and things like that happen on the earth and will continue to, right? So in the heavens, there are, oh my gosh, there's a story really that's taking place in the heavens, in the I don't want to say the sky, because there's things that are happening above the sky even, right? So we have these various signs, right, so to speak. And what is a sign? A sign is just something that shows you, it can show you something for a direction. I mean, think about it, like when we're going somewhere and we're driving, right? Just let's take that for instance. You're driving to some place that you've never been there before. Okay. Well, now we have GPS, the we can plug in an address in our phone and and put it on a dashboard or whatever, and we drive, and just Siri is going to tell us like, hey, get on here, get on here, get off at this exit, all of that stuff. Well, before we had that, we had a look, we had MapQuest. Right, we had MapQuest, but before we had that, we had actual maps, we had a compass, things like that. Like, how did they know the direction to go where they needed to go? And even before that, there was a story in the Bible when Joshua, or who the world calls Jesus Christ, was born, and the three wise men, those wise men were actually astrologers. And that's the reason why they called them wise men, because they were men who knew the times. Well, what does it mean by knowing the times? They knew um what would happen, or various events and things like that, because they told the time by the planetary movements in the heavens, by the planetary movements in the heavens. And so I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, because we're going to get into it as we continue to move along with this with our discourse. But it's the universal time clock. Just like we have a watch, or we have we may have now we have the little time on our phones, and you know, uh, digital, but an analog clock, or the ones that's the circle with the numbers, right? The 12 numbers, and the hours, and the minutes, and the seconds, and the hour hand, and the second hand, and the minute hand, that analog clock. It was designed that way um to mimic something, and we'll see what that is in a few, right? But this planetary event that just took place is where the planet Pluto, that small planet that was discovered, it was already there. It's not like it just appeared. It was already there. It just didn't come into man's awareness until 1930, during the Great Depression, right? During the Great Depression, that's when it was discovered. Okay. So that small planet, in which they went back and forth. One minute it was a planet, the next minute they wanted to classify it as, oh, it's not a planet, it's an asteroid. It's a planet, right? Like, it's a planet. So um this small planet that was discovered by man in about 1930 just made its transition into the sign of Aquarius. Okay. It'll be there. And when did this take place? It wasn't the 27th. I can't remember the exact date. It's the 21st, the 25th, somewhere around there. I mean, like it just happened. And it'll it takes its quick dip into Aquarius for a couple of weeks, I think until about, I want to say June. And then it'll we'll have a retrograde. I'm not sure if there are a lot of people. There are many people that are aware of a retrograde, but it's like the only planet that that most people are like, oh, retrograde is Mercury. Mercury went in retrograde. But all all planets go into retrograde, right? They appear to be moving backwards in the heavens. The only ones that don't do that are the luminaries, and the luminaries are the sun and the moon. They always have forward movement. If they went backwards at any time, we would have a problem. We would have a whole problem on Earth, right? But all of the planets have a retrograde movement. So Pluto has transited into the sign of Aquarius. It will dip back or have a retrograde back into Capricorn for a bit, and then it'll move forward into Aquarius again, and then just continue on over the next 20 years. Over the next 20 years, Pluto is a planet of I don't want to say it rules transformation, but let's say the sign. It's over transformation. Things that transform over a period of time. Like we have change, like seasons change, just like you change clothes, right? But your body transforms. But there's a difference between change and transformation. Change, I can change my hair. I can change clothes. I can change nail polish, right? I can change my jewelry out. I can I can again, seasons change, but they are the same. Like we have spring, we have summer, we have fall, and we have winter. Every year they change, right? The leaves change because they fall in the fall, of course, right? And then in the springtime they bud, and then in summertime we have like full trees where the leaves are back and they're new. It's change. But transformation, once it transforms, it does not go back to what it used to be, right? Like I will never be a baby again, right? I've transformed from a baby into um a full grown woman, and I will never go back to that. If I did, it would be like something is clearly wrong, right? Like something is clearly wrong. And so when Pluto, for example, when the planet Pluto went into or made its transit from Sagittarius to Capricorn in 2008, there were signs that we could see. If we don't know anything about astrology and how these things or these events and the things that we would see would take place, we're not aware of it. However, when you are, then you could see like, and the things of that will take place. And of course, I've been an astrologist for at least 35 years. That's quite a long time, right? But seeing those themes with Pluto moving into or transiting into Capricorn, what I knew would take place would be a transformation of um, authority, um, things of, like say, traditional um, banking systems or institutions, old structures, government, like all of these things, and then even more so on a personal level, as well, depending on where Capricorn is in your own natal chart, and that transformation that has happened over the past, um, you know, close to 20 years. All right. And we've seen that. We've seen that. We're seeing that. There was people who were in certain positions of power for a very long time that, with the planet Pluto going through Capricorn, um, abuse was revealed. People abusing their authority, abusing their positions, and these things were hidden because that's what, Pluto kind of represents, right? These hidden things that's way deep, deep down in the dark. And over time, it was like an upheaval and revealed in order for these structures to, like, okay, now it's out here. And now what are we going to do with this? Right. And a total overhaul would need to take place. Okay. And we'll still deal with this. Look, big business, right? What are the things that are happening where big business, corporate, right? Corporate structures, corporate America. What happened with the pandemic, right? These are the themes of, these things that have taken place over a span of time. And we're getting to see these this I don't want to say loss of power, but the shift of power from people who, people, businesses, corporations, or whatever, that's been, again, in position for a long time, but now losing that control, and the power is truly going to the people, because that's what Aquarius is about. Aquarius is about humanity. It's about freedom. It's about progression and progressive uh thinking. Um it's it's a it's a youthful, not young, but youthful kind of energy. It's also, um the themes around it are, technology, the internet, all of these kinds of things, new inventions. And we can see that with this AI, right? AI technology. Um, and that's a huge talk that's going on about, open AI, GPT. Everybody's like using it. And again, when Pluto moved into Aquarius just the other day, it was just like so many things that was in the news, in different media, not the old news that people still like watch on TV. They're not going to show that there. That's filled with propaganda. But you'll see these newses across the internet. Even more interesting was an article that came up in one of the Forex platforms that I'm on, where they even mentioned in this article about Aquarius making its transit. I mean, a Pluto making this transit into Aquarius. Now, why would a Forex news platform talk about Aquarius or Pluto into Pluto moving into or transiting into Aquarius and how it affected the market. When I saw it, I laughed. I was like, now look at this, right? I absolutely love it. And there's a reason for that. And I'm going to show you what what that is or the reason why. Okay, right? So here's the thing. JP Morgan. Do we know who JP Morgan is? Right? You could drop it in the chat. If you know who JP Morgan is, you could drop it in the chat, say yes, and then add, who JP Morgan is. So JP Morgan was quoted twice saying anyone can be a millionaire, but to become a billionaire, you need an astrologer. He also said millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. Right? So JP Morgan, he's a mega millionaire. We're going to look at his birth chart a little bit later on. And yes, he did use an astrologer. Astrologers aren't, and I know, in the religious communities and everything, it's like, oh, the astrologers and everything, this is bad and it's against God, and we'll go into the scriptures and point out a couple of 2 or 3 scriptures where it talk about sorcerers and astrologers and all of these things as bad. However, it's not that, right? I mean, to be honest, anybody anybody who have certain gifts can abuse their gifts. They can abuse them and misuse them. Teaching is a spiritual gift. Prophecy is a spiritual gift. How you use it is what makes the difference, right? There's the only time mentioned in the scriptures when it said good and evil was not to touch it. And that is because the word and is a word that conjuncts. It brings 2 things together or join them. And you cannot join good and evil because they are total opposites. You can't join 2 opposites together. They will always go, in separate directions. It causes confusion. It's the only time good and evil was mentioned in the scriptures. Any other time that the word good or evil was mentioned in the scriptures when it is in the form of telling you to choose one. And then it will tell you which one to choose. It'll say choose good, avoid evil, right? Choose good, abhor evil. It was like an open book test. An open book test. These are the 2 choices, but I'm telling you to choose good. I don't. The only way I don't understand, and the reason why I don't understand it is like how if you're being told which one to choose, like why would you choose the? Oh, that's the reason why, because you haven't studied. Okay, got it. Right. That's the only. But I will be the one to choose the better or to choose the good because it's like that is the one that you have the more abundance and the benefits without the problems, right? The only problem that you'll really have is when you have those who are trying to come after you for your abundance. That's why there's a war on wealth. There is a war on wealth and the wealthy. Okay. So Mr. JP Morgan, we think Chase Banks. right? I mean, some people have a Chase bank with Chase. Some people don't. They don't like them. I mean, all of these commercial banks are something to be said about all of them, to be honest. But but he's that guy, right? And he was an astrologer. Here's the thing about it. In the scriptures where you had kings, and that would be like, presidents or heads of countries and things like that, they always have a council. And do not think for 1 minute that even now today, an astrologer or two or three are not on their team. They are. They are. In the scriptures, they are. Astrologers, sorcerers, magicians, like psychics, all of these things, right? I'm sorry, phone call coming through. They uh they utilize them because you're talking about being head of countries, right? You have to know the times according to the heavens. Just like you may have on a watch and you need to know the time in order for you to make sure that you do the things that you need to do and get to where you need to be on time. And so they want to do the same thing. Hey, if I'm the head of a, government and country and a bunch of people and all of this kind of stuff, I have to know what's going on in the heavens, because that is the time clock. That's the true time clock that the creator made. Why wouldn't I want to know what the creator made to be on time? And in order to be on time, you have to be prepared before time. Now, how you use it is what the issue is. A knife is a knife. A knife doesn't do anything without the person who picks it up and use it as a tool. It can be used to, I don't know, cut something, fruit, vegetables, meat, right? Okay, good use. But then if I take the knife and stab somebody with it, bad use, bad, bad, bad. Right? So was it the knife or was it the person holding the knife? Right? Is it the watch or the person holding the watch? Is it the heavens or the person that is, saying, hey, these are the movements and things that are happening in the heavens. These are the things that can transpire. And so let us plan to do evil, or let us plan to do good with this information and utilize the energy that'll benefit everyone who we are here to serve, not rule. There's a difference between the two, right? So Genesis 1:14 through 19 says, and I'm this was taken from the Holy Name Bible, from the Holy Name version by AB Trainer through the Scripture Research Association. You could purchase it on Amazon. It's there. It's about $40. I could also give you a link. It would be an affiliate link, of course, to my Amazon store, to where you want to click that link and purchase it. The Holy Name Bible, it's there. The preface, it's great to read. It contains the original Hebrew names are restored in the Holy Name version. And it says, and Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and for years. Sounds like a clock to me, right? And let them be for lights in the firmaments of the heavens to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, that would be the sun, the lesser light to rule the night, that would be the moon, and he made the stars also. So there's the stars and there's also the planets. We call them planets. They're really, we're not going to get into that, right? Because that'll go down a rabbit hole of another book that you would have to get in and read to really understand, what was being said there. And Elohim set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth and to rule or measure over the day and over the night and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. It was good. He used that for good, right? And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. So there was light in the beginning, and the light was separated from the darkness in the beginning, right? Day one. So the luminaries, which would be the sun and the moon, that was the fourth day. So light and darkness was before sun and moon, right? But he placed these there for those movements, just like when you have an analog clock and you see the hands moving around the clock, right? The hour hand that moves and the minute hand that moves and the second hand that moves. It's just mimicking what happens in the heavens. The sun that moves and the moon that moves and the planets that move. And it gives off certain energies that we see various things start to take place on the earth. Anyone who works in the medical field, especially in ER, I don't know how many doctors and nurses that have worked ER, they all say the same thing about the full moon. Like, oh boy, we got a full moon coming. It's going to be a busy night tonight. Well, why is that? And why is that around the full moon? Because the moon, it coincides with it's the in astrology, it's the ruler of the sign Cancer, right? Of the Cancer sign. It's the moon is the ruler of Cancer, and it's about emotions. We talk about that often in trading, right? Emotions. Now everybody has a moon sign. You have a sun sign, and everybody will say, I'm an Aries, right? My birthday is coming up, April 9th. Look, if you want to send me something, you can, right? I take gift cards, all that good stuff, because I tell you one thing that I love the most is fruit. I will go up here to my favorite store, Pete's, and buy me some fruit and just be in fruit heaven, right? I'm playing, but I'm not. But yes. So I'm an Aries, right? And just I'm an Aries, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Gemini, I'm a Leo, okay, but then what's your moon sign? And then there are other signs to you. There are other facets to you as well. That's the reason why all Aries are not the same. All Cancers are not the same. All Tauruses are not the same. They're not the same. There are some general things about us that may be alike, right? There are some general things about Aries that are common, general things about Tauruses that are common, general things about Geminis that are common, right? But as individuals, we are not the same. We were born at different times to different parents in different locations, grew up in different environments, had different experiences, right? Like I have twin daughters. Right? So they have the same parents, shared the same womb at the same, in the same space, but they have different experiences. They were born at different times, right? 12 minutes apart. They were born at different times and have had different experiences, even with the same parents sharing the same womb. They have, although they share same, planets or whatever, but it's in different degrees just because of the time that they were born. 12 minutes apart. That gave him the shift in degrees and a shift in their experiences. Right. And so this time clock in the heavens, it gives a thing. And here's the thing about it: no matter what man attempts to do, he can't stop it. It's going to happen. So here's the thing about, with the planet Pluto making this transit into Aquarius, it'll dip back into Capricorn for a little while, and then it'll go back, you know, um, full speed ahead back into Aquarius. And over the next 20 years, we are going to see a transformation of old structures, old traditional things that it will not be the same. We may as well get used to it. Get used to artificial intelligence, get used to AI technology, get used to uh and look, the good, the bad, the ugly and indifferent, all of it, because we'll see all of that. We'll see all of that. Just like we've seen it with Capricorn, with Pluto and Capricorn. We are going to see, some good things about this technological revolution, freedom, progression, all of this. But then we'll also see the dark side of it too. So buckle up, right? Buckle up and be ready. Be ready. I was just sharing this with my son the other day because um uh there was we was reading something about this AI technology and the chat GPT being used for, like, oh, now people are going to use that to write their papers and things like that in school. And they were talking about how they were going to try to ban it and all of this. And I said, wow, that's going to do students in these public school systems a disservice. And why do I say that? The reason why I say that is because you have public schools, which are exactly that, public schools, that they're not really that old. Public schools have been around for maybe about 100 years, and they were created to put poor people to work in order for them to at least earn an income and be employed in, you know, rich people's um, corporate structures that they were building during the industrial age. We're in the information age now and have been for a minute, right? And so that's the reason why we really see the things that we see with public schools, because, and especially now when you have this AI technology, it's already happening. It's the reason why, getting these layoffs, and the companies are really going to use AI technology, which is going to cut out a lot of jobs, right? The jobs that people say that they don't want, well, now there's going to be AI technology that's used that's like, well, I mean, shoot, the people don't want to work. And so therefore, hey, we'll save money by using AI technology. And, maybe look, only the people that will be employed in those structures are the people that, that are engineering the AI technology. But other kind of jobs, they will be obsolete. And so to have people not to use it is really a disservice to humanity because they'll be behind. So to have students to not use it is a disservice as far as education is concerned. Because I am pretty sure in these private schools where wealthy people are paying for their children to go to school, they are being taught how to use the resource. It's a resource. You teach students how to use the resource, not you don't discourage the use of it. And like I was explaining to my son, that's just like me saying, hey, don't use that um power screwdriver, use the manual one. Although the power screwdriver it'll be more efficient and get the job done quicker, the manual one you'll take longer. And then now you have this problem where, if you're screwing and you have this repetitive motion in your wrist, now you're at risk for developing carpal tunnel syndrome, which is oof, Lord have mercy. Anybody that's had it will know that's not something that you want to have. It is, it's almost, it's not quite, but it's almost up there with labor pains. To have that carpal tunnel pain shooting through your wrist like that, oh my gosh. But you end up developing that with that repetitive motion, trying to use a little manual screwdriver to do a big job. Why wouldn't I want them to use the tools that can help to make the job easier, quicker, more efficient? Think about it. How long it used to take for people to build houses that maybe they didn't have those power, the power tools. They had the manual tools. But then look, technological advances, now you have the power tools and you can build quicker, more efficient. Teach them how to use it, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean, taking away, oh, we'll be lazy and no one will think. It's like, no, you do have to think in order to use the technology properly, because you have to know exactly how to communicate with it. So it can help the student to sharpen their communication skills, to be able to maximize the use of the AI technology. So that's what should be taught. But hey, we're talking about public schools, and then people, it is what it is, right? So get used to it. It's coming. It's here. Not it's coming, it's here. And you can also use it. I've had a few traders that have used it to help them trade. Interesting, right? Learn how to communicate with it, right? So look, now we're just really in the introduction, okay? So how you can how astropsychology can help you as a trader and just in life as in general. Everyone has a unique money blueprint, right? So throughout this discourse, we'll discover how you can tap into your own. So we really kind of went over some of the basics as far as like examples in astrology. So this is what we'll cover, and it'll be a series. The basics, your money mindset, money houses, as far as the astrological houses are concerned, money planets, earned income speculation, and which that's what Forex and investing in stocks and stock market and stuff is, right? And entrepreneurs, All right. So with the basics of astrology, you have signs, you have planets, you have the elements, and you have modes. Okay. So everyone is pretty familiar with the signs, right? That there are astrological signs depending on what month you were born. Now think about it. There are many people that are born within a 30-day window, right? So that's why people, oh, it's Aries season and I'm an Aries and, all of that type of stuff, right? So the first of the year, not according to the Gregorian calendar, that was the change of the calendar, right? But according to what the creator said to a people, he said, this will be the beginning of the year to you, the month of Abib. Abib in Hebrew, it corresponds with the month of April. Okay. This is when you get the newness, right? Spring, new. So, of course, that's the beginning, right? So, April not only does this at the new moon. So, the the new year or the date of the new year is never the same. It is really according to when the new moon is. Okay. So we could say, oh, it's April 1st. No, it's when the new moon is. The new moon might happen like we just had a new moon, the Aries new moon on March 21st. I think last year it was like April something. April 2nd, April, not April 15th. It was not that. April, it's always somewhere between March or the beginning of April that new moon takes place. That is the day of the new year. All right. So, Aries, that's the first sign. Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. All right. Those are the signs. The planets that are rulers over those signs. As a matter of fact, we're going to go this way. So Aries, its planetary ruler is Mars. Its element is fire, and it is a cardinal sign. The cardinal signs initiate or start off a new season, right? So Taurus, its planetary ruler is Venus. It is an earth sign. So that's its element. And it's fixed. So cardinal means that Aries initiates the spring and Taurus is fixed in the spring. This is when we say now it is spring. Again, Aries initiates or starts off the season, but in Taurus, now we're definitely in spring, right? And so Gemini, its planetary ruler is Mercury. Its element is air, and it's mutable. So mutable means that it's changeable. And of course, if you know a Gemini, they kind of have that changeable nature, right? That's the reason why it's like, well, one minute it was like this, and then next minute they was like, well, it's changeable because you need that buffer, right? Or that mutable, it adapts. All right. It's an adaptation. You need that period in between to adapt going from one season to another. So that mutable or that adaptation is like now we're about to move from spring into summer. So it'll be like spring weather and then summer weather and spring weather and then summer weather. That helps us to not have a shock in our body and end up sick or something and dying. Again, you need that buffer or that time of adjustment, right? So that's what it means to be mutable. And then Cancer, ruled by the moon. It's a water sign, so that's its element, and it's cardinal. It initiates the summer season. Okay. Leo, ruled by the sun. It's a fire sign and it's fixed. Now we're in summer, stabilized, right? Virgo, its ruler is Mercury as well. It's an earth sign. It's mutable. We're changing from summer into fall. Libra, its planetary ruler is Venus. Element is air. cardinal. It initiates the fall or the autumn season. Scorpio, its planets, because remember, Pluto wasn't discovered until 1930. So its original ruling planet shares it with Aries, Mars, right? Mars and Pluto. It's a water sign. It's fixed. So it's fixed in autumn or fall, right? It's stabilized in that season. And then Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, fire, it's mutable. We're changing from the fall to the winter. Capricorn, planetary ruler Saturn. It's an earth sign. It's cardinal. It initiates the winter season. Aquarius, which is, Pluto has moved into that sign, right? Aquarius, its first planetary ruler, it shares it with Capricorn, is Saturn. But then when Uranus was discovered in 1858, of course, Uranus was assigned to to uh to Aquarius. Its element is air and it's fixed in the winter season. That's why Aquarius can really, they could be warm, but boy, when you get on that side of an Aquarius, like you don't want to get on that side. You talking about cold, fixed in winter, like we talking about freezing cold, like unbearable, unbearable, freeze you out, no emotion whatsoever cold, right? But that's only if you get on that side of Aquarius. But I love Aquarius. Is there? I love them. And then Pisces, planetary ruler is Jupiter. Neptune was discovered a little bit later on. So it has that co-ruler element is water, and it's mutable. We're moving from the winter into the spring. Okay. So the signs of that is what you will see when we have these luminary movements and planetary movements. All right. Again, in the basics. So the sun, what would that represent? The sun represents confidence, strength, leadership, willpower. So your sun sign, right? Whatever your sun sign is and what it represents, your sun in that element, you grow towards the sun. This is where you shine, right? So as an Aries, as an Aries person, I shine in, that leadership ability, the one to go first and move forward and do things in the beginning, start it off, initiate it, right? Now, there are some people that don't like that, but it's like, take that up with the creator. I didn't make myself to be born at that particular time, right? This is what I was given, and that's what I'm supposed to do. And I'm supposed to shine in that way, in that area of life, right? And so talk about, what's your purpose? That's what I'm supposed to do, right? If you're a Taurus, right? The way you shine, the way you show up is to be stable, right? Stable, provide the stability and value and worth, right? All of those things. Grow into your self-esteem, your self-value, your self-worth, right? Have the possessions, have the money. You're supposed to do that. Or if you have any other planets in that sign, like, but as a sun sign, that's where you shine. So whatever that is, if you're a Gemini, you're supposed to shine in communication, disseminating information, right? That's where you shine. So that's your confidence, your strength, your leadership, your willpower. Mercury, intellect, analytical, observant. That's communication. Venus is about money values, harmony, affection, pleasure, materialistic. What sign your Venus is in, right? The moon, that's about emotions, nurturing yourself, domestic security. So your moon sign is very important, especially when it comes to trading. We talk about emotions all the time with trading. It's imperative to know your moon sign so that like how you will, what type of emotional reaction that you will have, right? When you're feeling uncomfortable or out of that element of your moon sign, that will help you a lot. I know what my moon sign is, right? I have a Pisces moon. I have a Pisces moon. And so I'm talk about intuitive, like psychic intuitive. Yeah. Right. And so I know what that is for me. And the minute I feel it, feel others, all of that stuff, I know. Like for instance, perfect example. I was trading, doing very good. I mean, very well. And then next thing you know, I just happen to, I'm looking and I'm like, wait a minute. I said, something's about to happen. I don't know what, but something is going on. Something is about to transpire where I probably won't be able to trade for a while because it's like the market is just saying, like, here, 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 take this, take that. Like, get like just, and then sure enough, my mom went in the hospital and I was at the hospital with her every day for 33 days before she made her transition. I did not trade during that time at all. So it wasn't just the 33 days, it was actually 40. But, she was in the hospital for 33 days before she made her transition. But it wasn't until 40 days later, I could say on maybe day 41 where I was like, okay, let me get back in here, on the charts or whatever. But I knew, I'm like, something is about to happen. Right? Paid attention to my own intuition, right? My own ability to, when we say prophetic or prophecy, that just means a message from the creator himself directly to you, whether it's for you or whether it's for you to share with another person or people that may not be listening. That's all that is, right? So again, moon sign, know what that is for you to understand your emotions and how to work with them. Not cut them off, not pay attention to them, not be aware of them or stuff them off to the side, but to work with your your own emotions. Um Mars, money activity, that's your action. We always talk about call to action and take action and all of that. So when we talk about revenge trading, this is where Mars comes into play. What would even spark that in you to do that? What would stir you to take action? What would stir you to probably even be angry, right? I promise you it would be something that has to do with the sign that your Mars is in, right? But then even how you go to how you assert yourself, right? How you even take a trade, like if you're an aggressive trader, that's your Mars sign. It's your instinct, your impulse, or how to control your impulse. Know your Mars sign. Jupiter, abundant, extravagant, fortunate, generous, expansive. What's Jupiter? What sign is that in for you according to your natal chart? Abundance. What are you looking for when it comes to abundance? It will show in your own chart. Saturn. This is the discipline, right? When we talk about discipline and consistency and mastery, where's your Saturn? How would you be disciplined? How would you master? Right? My Saturn is in Cancer in my 12th house. So it's about me mastering my own personal emotions when it comes to empathy. Empathy. So when people are tugging on my heartstrings, for something, I have to be disciplined, right? And set boundaries so that I don't give off, how can I say, I don't um put my energy, because that's what emotions are. Emotions are energy in motion. I don't put give my energy in an area or people, right? Um that it should not go, or doesn't belong, because then that affects my money. Because money is just energy manifested on a material level. So if I'm over giving in energy and don't set boundaries in that, then surely I will see it'll be affected in my money. It's like, yeah, I overgave in that area. And a lot of times you don't even connect the two, right? And so what would that be for you? This Saturn, where is that, where you have to master that? Whatever it is that you would have to master, right? And be, again, responsible, thrifty, conservative, disciplined in that area, right? Because that's what it's all about with trading. Okay. Uranus, this is the ruler, planetary ruler of Aquarius, Uranus and Saturn, actually, right? But independent, eccentric, humanitarian. So, we've answered the call of those who are like, you know what, we don't care about corporate structures. I don't care about corporate structures, titles, and all of that type of stuff. All I want to do is I want to be free to fund my lifestyle. I want to live the life that I came here to live and be free and fund my lifestyle. It was like, we heard you, we got you, right? So you can be independent and self sufficient and be a humanitarian, given in areas where you were called to give, the communities that you were called to help, right? No cap. And when I say no cap, the young people say that, no cap. I'm talking about no cap or limits on, or you would be the one to put that limit out there. Like, hey, I'm capping this at, I want to do $1 million a day, or $1 million a week, $1 million a month. Like, yes, there are people out here who make $1 million a month. Right. And not just for them, but it's like, hey, I want to do this thing, and I want to give to this, and I want to afford, people the opportunity to do this, that, and the other. And you need funds in order to do it. It's like, let's be real, real. We need money. We need funds in order to do that, in order to do those things. Not just trying to take, where that one scripture in the Bible has just been abused and misused. Oh, the lady gave a penny, from the little bit that she had, and he counted that to be more than what everybody else gave, because she gave it from her heart. In order to have people that don't have two nickels to rub together, to feed themselves and their families, to give out there somewhere, you know, as a, well, if I do this, then God is gonna bless me. And he like, listen, I need you to secure your base first to get some things going, to take care of your basic needs and more, right? Food, clothing, shelter, love. I always say this: love, support, food, clothing, shelter, education, recreation, and opportunity. You got to have the opportunity to be able to do that. When he created that system of tithing, taking a tenth, that was to put that tenth aside so that they had their own welfare system as a community. And welfare does not mean poor. Welfare means the well-being and wholeness of an entire community. That way they were not dependent on government. That's where we're moving towards, right? Neptune, idealistic, deceptive, compassionate. Isn't that amazing? It could be deceptive energy if used the wrong way, but it's also a planet. I mean, not the planet itself, but that's what it represents, right? Like compassion. And a lot of times people just kind of they deceive you by tapping into your compassion. That's interesting. Pluto, money pools, shared money, intense, transformative. Isn't that interesting? Pluto transitioning into Aquarius, money pools, shared money, intense, transformative. So we're about to see a transformation when we talk about this wealth transfer. From who to whom? Wealth transfer from big corporations to humanity, people. Because Aquarius is all about groups, right? Groups of people, right? So look, those are the basics. Now, your money mindset, and of course, this is going to end up being a part two. It's going to be a part two because we're pretty much ending here, but your money mindset or your fundamental, we talk about that a lot in trading, the fundamentals, right? Your fundamentals, your basic fundamental nature expression. So your sun sign, spirit, or ego, it depends on how you choose to use. Of course, we have that ego, and they call it as an acronym now. They made edging God out, right? Ego, because ego is all about self, right? It's all about self and self-centeredness, and it's just about you and nobody else, and it's about how you utilize other people for your own benefit gains, and it's nothing about them or whatever, right? And spirit, this is that energy where it's not you only, but it is you first, because you can't give from an empty cup, right? um you know in leadership is about you going out there, you doing, and then there's a measuring up, right? So the sun, and that's kind of really what we see. We can see that with people. You got with the let's say the signs. um there's there's the good and there's the evil. It just is what it is. There's the positive. um there's the positive of the sign, and then there's the negative of the sign, and we can see the expression and know what's operating in that person according to the behaviors that will show forth when you're dealing with that, or when you see that theme happening across, in at a particular space and time, right? So say for Pluto moving into and I know I'm talking about the sun sign right here, but with Pluto moving or transiting into that sign of Aquarius, there's some good in that Aquarius sign of the humanity and, progressive and freedom and technology and all of those things. But then of course, the not so good about that could be that it's this word. Oh, how do you pronounce it? Is it egalitarian? Egalitarian. I think that's how you say it. It's it's just real icky. That's why I could describe. It's like it's just real icky. Where you see that it's that cold. It's that just really okay. That intelligence may be there, but without emotion, it's not good. It's not good at all. It's that imperial type of attitude or whatever. You're lesser than or whatever because you're not intelligent or and in that. But intelligence, IQ coupled with EQ, right? Emotional intelligence, emotional awareness is always great, but the intellect without the emotion is not good, and we're gonna see that as well. So while everybody's talking about narcissism and things like that, oh baby, we're about to see that take we're about to see that taken up about 1,000 notches. We really, really are. So your sun sign would represent like even your attitudes that you have about money. Moon will be the soul or mind, because we talk about that a lot in psychology. The psyche, soul, mind is synonymous. It is synonymous. So when you're talking about the soul, you're talking about the mind, right? Emotions and security. Your ascendant, that's like your aura, your personality. When people first meet you, there is a so when folks talk about uh oh, and I met them, this is that and the other, but they had a mask. Well, really everybody has one, because everybody has a personality, and it's according to what your rising sign is or the time that you were born. You may be a Gemini, but you might have been born at a time where where let's say let me where Pisces was on the rising, right? Where Pisces was on the rise, which meant, what do I mean by the rise? That means that at the time that you were born, when the sun rose that morning, let's say if the sun rose at 6 something that morning, you know, and just so happen to be in Pisces at that particular time or whatever, or this 2 hour window, that would be your rising. So upon meeting you, people would get that impression that your personality is like that of a feel of a Pisces. However, as they got to know you, right, your character, you present your character as that of a Gemini. So they stuck on your personality, your Pisces, when it's like, but I'm a Gemini. Like your behaviors are that of a Gemini. Where if they like the Pisces behavior, but they don't like the Gemini behavior, now it's, oh, they had a mask. No, they did. You just never got past the door. You just never got past the personality, right? Example, okay, I'm an Aries, but I have a Leo rising. And so there are people who, although they're both fire signs, and they're both warm, right? So I have a warm personality, right? I have a warm personality, an encouraging one, and all of that. However, okay, if they can't get past that and don't want to see my Aries nature, they don't like that part. Okay, you don't like me. You see what I'm saying? It's like, well, you don't like me. You stuck on the personality part. And it's like but we have to get to know people, right? And go past that. You enter into the door, but then there's a lot of other places in the house, right? There's other rooms in, right? And then you invited in and you're shown around. And then hey, if you like it, you live there. If not, you visit and you go. It's like the same thing, right? So, and that's what we have, that energy and how you channel it. And this can be useful to you, excuse me, in trading. Because not only is there your your trading style, are you do you have that are you more of a scalper? Um if so, that's that quick in and out, right? I'm in, I'm not really, well, that's not to say you're not looking at the charts. Of course you are looking at the charts, but in order for you to get in and out, but you're okay. So when you get the direction, okay, well, it's pretty much selling or whatever. So I'm gonna scalp this sale, or I'm gonna scalp, or it's buying or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna scalp this buy. Uh, you're not setting any parameters or anything like that. I would say that the scalpers have more of a Aries personality. Doesn't mean that they're Aries, but it's somewhere in that chart. I'm pretty sure that Aries is there. It could be a Aries Mars. Um, I would probably say there's a lot of Aries, Mars and Aries in there where they look in and out, right? Because Aries is that they're the first. It's the first responders, right? The first responders. They got to be quick, efficient. Probably even some. You could even be some Scorpio in there. They might have a Scorpio Mars. They might have an Aries Mars and Aries. Um, but some of that type of energy where you're quick in and out, you grab what you want and go. It's your scalper, right? But if you don't have that type of personality, then that's not suited for you. So then you're trying to learn how to scalp, and it's frustrating you and everything, but you might be being taught by someone that has that type of personality, and also it works for them. And you may be sitting here being a whole Taurus, Capricorn, or something like that. Well, you might, it's like I'm gonna be here for a while. I'm gonna hold this trade. You swing, or you or even day trader, where you may hold it for a couple of hours, but you close your trades out by the end of the day, or a session. You see what I'm saying? So know your own basic personality, right? Your own basic chart, astrological chart. Be okay and comfortable with the energy that you have based on your own natal chart. And then now you have your other personality test or whatever to take, right? And then also the assessment that you take with, again, finding out, are you better suited for scalping? Are you better suited for day or intraday trading? Are you better suited for hey, as a position trader? Funny thing is, although I'm an Aries, my personality style is better suited for position trading, and I know exactly why that is. I have Venus in Taurus. I like to take my time, so I give myself a space of time, because I know it's like, don't rush me. I'm not I'm I'm not going to be rushed. I want to take my time. I want to savor, the moment. I want to savor my food. I want to, put on some good music and a good ambiance and food. Oh my gosh. You give me that, a good live band playing and some good food, and the setting is nice and comfortable, stay a while, right? And so that's better suited for me. Can I scalp? Yes, I can. I learned that first, but it's like my anxiety is flaring up and all that. I'm like, I don't want to trade like that. I want to trade in peace. That's my Pisces moon. And my Pisces moon makes a sextile aspect to my Venus and Taurus. So that's why for me, right? And Venus and moon is feminine energy. For me as a woman, peaceful, serene, alone, like retreated. That's that Pisces part of me, right? Taking my time with my trades. And I do well when I trade that way, because that's more suited for my emotional nature, Pisces moon, right? And what I'm comfortable with, my Venus and Taurus. And because Taurus rules, Taurus and Venus is over that money aspect, that's where I'm better with my money in that way. Now, I could do the scalping. I have I have a lot of Aries energy. My sun is in Aries, my Mercury is in Aries, my Jupiter is in Aries. My Mars that is Aries ruler is in Aquarius. It's over technology, right? So, like, yes, the action that I put forth in my energy, that's no wonder why I was led to Forex, right? And the pursuit of it. That's the masculine side of me, right? So, okay, Forex trading with the Aries energy, with my Mars in Aquarius, utilizing technology and all of that. That's how I do my work, set up my activity. But then when I'm sitting down in my element and I'm doing that for the emotional part of it, being fulfilled as a whole, my trading style and how I'm comfortable with making my money position. I'm not a scalper. Now, you see how you can take all of that for you, right? And you can utilize that energy to help you as far as even with your trading plan. Because then you know, as a trader, who you truly are in this space and how you can go about it with your trades. And then even down to choosing a currency pair or indice. Would you be better with trading metals? Or but we can find all of that in your own natal chart as well. Because listen, this, and I'm going to end here on this slide. Of course, there are more, to come, because we're going to get into, the aspects and your natal chart, and we talked about this with Pluto and moving into Aquarius. And then we're going to look at JP Morgan's Chase as an entrepreneur, right? In the financial system and sector, and look at his chart, and as an astrologist who can read his chart, I'm like, I mean, just on glance, I was like, oh, no wonder, right? He was an Aries. He was an Aries, but he has a whole stellium in his second house. This second house is traditionally ruled by Taurus, which is about money, self-esteem, value. And he had all of that stellium energy in Aries in his second house. That man was a born entrepreneur. He was supposed to be in the money sector. It's right here in his chart. What's in yours, right? So we want to craft that for you and to utilize this energy and the time that we're in now. We want to be on time, right? So we prepare ahead of time so that we're on time because we want to ride this transiting energy of Pluto in Aquarius over the next 20 years. It's like, don't miss it. It's like missing an airplane, missing your mode of transportation. You want to be on the bus. You want to be on the plane, right? Let's say plane, because, planes are an Aquarius, planes are like an Aquarius type of mode of transportation, aerial space and the technology and all of that kind of stuff too, spaceships, all of that. You want to be in that energy to ride this wave on out. Okay. And now again, like I said before, it was the 23rd. That's what it was. March 23rd. So March 23rd is when Pluto transited to transit. When we think of think of the like bus lines, like say here in Chicago, we have CTA, Chicago Transit Authority. So when the planets move, they're in transit. It means that they're moving, right? So Pluto transiting into Aquarius, right? That means it's moving. You want to be in on that energy, that transformative energy, right? So we're going to have this first wave over the next couple of weeks from now into June. So that's like taking the first group of people. I mean, think about that. Like, you're the first, taking the first group of people on into this Aquarius technology and open AI and all this type of stuff, right? Over the next couple of weeks. How will you use that to advance, to progress, to move forward, right? To where this wealth transfer comes to you easily and effortlessly. And then there's going to be a retrograde, right? Which would be think about it again, where let's say it's like the plane. Okay, everybody board. We're taking these first group of people over into here. So whoever was ready and got on the plane, now they're there. So then the plane leaves and it comes back. So that's that retrograde movement going back into Capricorn, right? Right? Reflect, review, revise. That's all retrograde is. Reflect, review, revise. If you wasn't prepared the first time, get prepared now. Right? Get ready. Be there. Be on time. Right? Go through TSA, all of that, or if you have the TSA pre-check, that's even better. You don't even have to go through you don't even have to go through taking off your shoes and all of that kind of stuff. Like, you just go ahead and go through. Okay. Get over there in that area where you're waiting to board, right? And then they board, and it's like, well, this time, if you're not on board, this time you're left because it's moving forward and it's not coming back. So if you're ready now, we're here. We're in this space. Like I said, it'll be a couple of weeks. I want to say it's like June 23rd. And then we'll have a retrograde back into Capricorn. And then after that, by 2024, we full speed ahead. Pluto is not returning back into Capricorn. we're full speed ahead moving forward. And there will be that wealth transfer. So on next Tuesday, we will you see how I kind of just like went through that, because we're going to do that SWOT analysis for you, your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities, even threats. You have to prepare for that, right? Going through pulling your natal chart, and the link will be in the description box below, right? And so we just want to help you to be a better, disciplined, profitable trader, and what that is for you individually, right? Personally, moving you full speed ahead into a time that, let's not even look at, oh, it's going to be all of the bad or negative or anything like that. Not to say that those things will not transpire, that won't take place or they won't happen. But there is a thing called protection, hedging, boundaries, right? And it's all about being a good steward and protector over your house, right? Like, I live in a neighborhood. It's pretty quiet or whatever. But the only way somebody is gonna come up in here and do something that they don't have no business doing is if I leave, we leave ourselves in this neighborhood open to threats, and we don't take those chances. Right? So we pretty much at peace. And so that's what we want you to have. Have these things set up, uh trade in peace, build wealth in peace for yourself and your future generations to come, because we are definitely all about following the wealth principles. Wealthy people follow wealth principles, right? And these principles are available to everybody. Everybody. It's all throughout the Bible, it's all throughout the scriptures. And once we tap into them and we do them, we have no choice but to reap the abundance that's our birthright. So again, we'll be back next Tuesday on House of Hadassah, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Peace.